There's something sacred about the first few moments of the morning, the way the world feels quieter, the way your mind hovers between sleep and wakefulness, open to whatever you feed it. And yet, for so many of us, mornings are rushed, reactive, and filled with habits that rob us of clarity, focus, and energy before the day even begins. What if the way you start your day determines everything else that follows? What if small, seemingly harmless choices in those first few minutes decide how productive, calm, and present you'll be? We often focus on what we should do in the morning: exercise, meditate, eat a healthy breakfast. But what about the things we shouldn't do? The habits that sabotage us before we even step out of bed? If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, hit the snooze button, or flood your mind with negativity, you're setting yourself up for a day of distraction, stress, and exhaustion. These habits may seem insignificant, but over time, they shape your mental and physical well-being in ways you don't even realize. So today, let's talk about 10 things you should never do when you wake up. Habits that drain your energy, weaken your focus, and hold you back from being your best self. Because a strong morning isn't just about what you add, it's about what you remove. Let's begin. 1. Checking your phone. First thing in the morning. The moment your eyes open, your mind is in its purest state, free, open, and highly impressionable. This is a rare window where your thoughts are unshaped by the outside world, a moment where you can decide the tone of your day. But the instant you grab your phone, you surrender that power. You let notifications, emails, and messages dictate your first thoughts. Before you even take a deep breath, your brain is flooded with distractions, stress, and the demands of others. It feels harmless, just a quick glance, just checking the time. But within seconds, you're scrolling, reacting, consuming. And the problem isn't just the wasted minutes, it's the effect on your brain. When you wake up, your mind transitions from deep rest into wakefulness. And in this state, it is highly sensitive. Scientists call it the hypnopompic state, a phase where your subconscious is still active, making it a crucial time for setting intentions, creativity, and mental clarity. Instead, if you reach for your phone, you overload your mind with dopamine and anxiety before you've even left your bed. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and reward, is hijacked by endless notifications. Each new message, email, or update triggers a small dopamine hit, reinforcing the habit of checking your phone first thing. Over time, this conditions your brain to crave instant digital stimulation, making it harder to focus on deeper, more meaningful tasks later in the day. If you find yourself feeling distracted, impatient, or unable to concentrate, this could be why. You've trained your brain to seek quick, shallow bursts of information instead of the slow, deep focus required for real thinking. But it's not just about focus. There's also the emotional impact. When you start your day with external input, especially social media or news, you are letting the world dictate your emotions before you even set your own. A stressful email, a negative headline, or even a seemingly harmless comparison on social media can instantly shift your mood, making you anxious, irritated, or self-critical before your feet even touch the floor. You are reacting instead of creating. You are consuming instead of being. And that changes everything. So what should you do instead? Start your morning with intention. Even just 10 to 15 minutes without your phone can make a massive difference. Take a deep breath, stretch, sit in silence, journal your thoughts. Let your mind wake up before you bombard it with the outside world. If you absolutely need to check something, keep it brief and purposeful. The key is to own your mornings before letting the world in. Because here's the truth: the way you start your day is your day. If you begin it with stress and distraction, that's the energy you'll carry forward. But if you start it with clarity, presence, and control, you set yourself up for a day that is not dictated by notifications, but by you. It's a small habit, but it changes everything. 2. Hitting the snooze button. It feels so harmless, just 5 more minutes. You tell yourself it won't make a difference, that you just need a little more rest. But then 5 minutes turn into 10, then 15, and suddenly you're in a cycle of waking and falling back asleep, never feeling fully rested. It's a small habit, but one that can have a surprisingly big impact on your energy levels, mental clarity, and overall productivity throughout the day. The problem with snoozing isn't just about losing a few extra minutes. It's about how it disrupts your sleep cycle. When you hit snooze, your body starts to drift back into sleep, entering a new sleep cycle that it won't have time to complete. So when your alarm jolts you awake again, you're caught mid-cycle, disoriented, groggy, and even more tired than if you had just woken up the first time. This effect is called sleep inertia, and research shows it can last anywhere from 15 minutes to a full hour, impairing your ability to focus, think clearly, and start your day with energy. Your brain thrives on rhythm, on consistency. When you snooze, you're sending mixed signals. One moment, you're waking up. The next, you're trying to sleep again. Over time, this weakens your body's natural ability to wake up feeling refreshed. It also creates a mental pattern of avoidance, where the first decision of your day is to delay, procrastinate, and resist discomfort. And how you start your day matters, because that initial decision sets the tone for everything else that follows. But let's be honest, breaking the snooze habit isn't easy. Waking up is hard, especially if you're not getting enough quality sleep. The key is understanding why you're snoozing in the first place. If you constantly feel like you need those extra minutes, it's a sign that your body isn't fully rested. Maybe you're going to bed too late. Maybe your sleep quality is poor. Maybe your body isn't getting the signals it needs to wake up naturally. Instead of relying on the snooze button, focus on improving your sleep habits. One of the best things you can do is set a consistent wake-up time, even on weekends. Your body operates on a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. When you wake up at the same time every day, your body starts to expect it, making mornings feel less like a battle and more like a natural transition. Pair that with exposure to morning sunlight, and your body will start producing cortisol, the hormone that helps you feel alert, at the right time, reducing the urge to snooze. Another powerful strategy is placing your alarm out of reach. If your phone or alarm clock is next to your bed, it's too easy to reach over and snooze without even thinking. But if you have to physically get up to turn it off, you're already moving, already breaking the cycle. And once you're up, the hardest part is over. But perhaps the most important shift is reframing how you see those first moments of waking up. Instead of seeing them as a time of struggle, what if you saw them as an opportunity? An opportunity to start fresh, to take control, to embrace the discomfort and move forward anyway. Because waking up isn't just about leaving sleep. It's about choosing to show up for your life. And the way you handle those first few seconds says everything about how you'll handle the rest of your day. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, resist the urge to snooze. Get up, stretch, breathe, and remind yourself, You have a day to live, and it starts now. 3. Staying in bed too long. It's tempting to linger in bed after waking up, to stretch, scroll through your phone, or just lie there staring at the ceiling. It feels like a slow, easy transition into the day. But the longer you stay in bed after waking up, the harder it becomes to shake off grogginess and fully engage with the world. It's a small habit, but one that can set the wrong tone for the rest of your morning. When you wake up, your body and brain go through a natural process called sleep inertia, a temporary state of reduced alertness and cognitive function. If you get out of bed right away, your body starts waking up properly. Blood circulation increases, your muscles become more active, and your brain begins shifting into full awareness. But if you stay in bed too long, you prolong this sluggish state, making it harder for your body to recognize that it's time to start the day. Think of it this way: your body is like a car engine. When you wake up, it's in idle mode, waiting for you to take action. But if you don't start moving, the engine stays cold, slow, and inefficient. Getting up and moving, even just standing, stretching, or walking to another room, signals to your brain that sleep is over, shifting it into wakefulness much faster. Another problem with staying in bed too long is the mental effect. Your brain thrives on routines and habits. If you train yourself to lounge in bed every morning, your mind starts associating your bed with wakefulness rather than sleep. This can actually make it harder to fall asleep at night because your brain no longer sees your bed as a place strictly for rest. Sleep experts even recommend getting out of bed after 15 to 20 minutes of lying awake at night for this very reason. Because the more time you spend awake in bed, the more your brain associates it with wakefulness. But beyond the biological effects, there's a psychological aspect to this as well. The way you start your morning sets a pattern for your entire day. If you begin with passivity, lying in bed, delaying movement, avoiding responsibility, it can carry into everything else. You might find yourself procrastinating on tasks, feeling sluggish, or lacking the mental energy to tackle challenges. On the other hand, if you get up with purpose, you build momentum that carries into your work, your focus, and your overall mindset. So what can you do instead? Create a compelling reason to get out of bed. The problem isn't just that your bed is comfortable, it's that getting up doesn't feel immediately rewarding. If you replace the habit of staying in bed with something enjoyable, like stepping outside for fresh air, listening to music, or making a cup of tea, you're more likely to move. Small, enjoyable rituals make the transition from sleep to wakefulness much smoother. Another effective trick is using natural light. If possible, open your curtains or step outside soon after waking up. Natural sunlight signals to your brain that it's time to be alert, regulating your internal clock and making mornings feel less like a struggle. If sunlight isn't an option, bright indoor lighting can also help stimulate wakefulness. And finally, try counting down from 5, a simple but effective mental trick. The moment you realize you're lying in bed too long, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then move. This method, popularized by psychologist Mel Robbins, works because it interrupts hesitation and forces action before your brain can talk you out of it. Because the truth is, the hardest part of getting up is the first few seconds. Once you're up, the resistance fades, and your day begins. And the sooner you take charge of your morning, the sooner you take charge of your life. 4. Starting the day with negative thoughts. The first thoughts you have in the morning shape the entire direction of your day. Yet, for so many people, the moment they wake up, Their mind is flooded with stress, dreading work, worrying about unfinished tasks, replaying past mistakes, or fixating on problems they can't immediately solve. These thoughts seem small, but they have an enormous impact, because what you focus on first thing in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Your brain is highly impressionable when you wake up. In the early morning, your mind is still transitioning from sleep, operating in a slow-wave brain state similar to meditation or hypnosis. This means that the first emotions and thoughts you experience become deeply ingrained, influencing your subconscious throughout the day. If you wake up thinking, "I'm exhausted, I don't want to deal with today," or "I hate my job," you're programming your brain to find more reasons to feel exhausted, frustrated, or overwhelmed. This is called confirmation bias. Once your mind takes on a negative perspective, it starts seeking evidence to support it. Negativity in the morning is like planting weeds in your mental garden before the day even begins. Instead of feeling in control, you're already in a state of reaction, responding to stress before you've even stepped out of bed. And the worst part? Most of these negative thoughts aren't even real problems. They're just echoes of anxiety, exaggerated worries that feel heavier in the silence of the morning, but often fade as the day goes on. But here's the good news. Just as negative thoughts set the tone for the day, so do positive ones. You don't need to force fake optimism or ignore real problems, but you can choose how you frame your mornings. Instead of starting with stress, start with intention. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to do this is by practicing morning gratitude. The moment you wake up, before your mind has a chance to fill with worries, take a deep breath and focus on something you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be profound, just something real. I'm grateful for this warm bed. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for another day to try again. Gratitude shifts your mind from scarcity to abundance, from stress to possibility. Another powerful tool is visualization. Before getting out of bed, picture your day unfolding in a positive way. Imagine yourself handling challenges with confidence, moving through the day with energy, feeling good about your progress. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between real experiences and imagined ones, so when you mentally rehearse success, you prime yourself to experience it. If your mornings tend to start with negativity, consider what's triggering it. Are you waking up to an alarm that immediately stresses you out? Are you checking messages or emails too soon, pulling yourself into work mode before you're mentally ready? Are you mentally replaying problems from yesterday instead of giving yourself a fresh start? Identifying your patterns is the first step to changing them. And if you struggle with persistent negative thoughts in the morning, create a pattern interrupt. A small action that disrupts the cycle. The moment you notice your mind spiraling, get up, stretch, drink a glass of water, or listen to something uplifting. Even a simple phrase like, "Today is a new day," can help shift your mindset. Because the truth is, your morning thoughts are like the first brushstrokes on a blank canvas. They don't just color the morning, they influence how you see the rest of your day. And when you choose to start with clarity, gratitude, and purpose, you don't just change your morning, you change everything that follows. 5. Drinking coffee immediately. For many people, coffee is more than just a drink. It's a ritual, a necessity, a moment of comfort before the chaos of the day begins. The rich aroma, the warmth of the cup in your hands, the promise of energy. It's almost instinctual to reach for it the moment you wake up. But drinking coffee first thing in the morning, as tempting as it is, may be doing more harm than good. When you wake up, your body naturally produces cortisol, the hormone responsible for alertness, focus, and regulating your energy throughout the day. This is your body's natural wake-up system, and for the first 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up, cortisol levels are at their peak. Drinking coffee during this time interferes with this process. Instead of allowing your body to wake up naturally, caffeine takes over, forcing a spike in alertness that can lead to dependency over time. The result? Your body starts producing less cortisol on its own, making you more reliant on caffeine to feel awake, not just in the morning, but throughout the day. And there's more. Drinking coffee first thing on an empty stomach can increase acidity in the gut, leading to digestive discomfort, acid reflux, and even long-term issues with stomach lining irritation. Coffee stimulates acid production, which is fine when you have food in your stomach to buffer it, but without that, it can cause bloating, heartburn, or discomfort. If you've ever had that uneasy, jittery feeling after your morning coffee, this might be why. But perhaps the biggest reason to delay your coffee is caffeine tolerance. When you consume caffeine as soon as you wake up, you don't get the full benefits of its stimulating effects. Your body is already waking up naturally with cortisol, so caffeine has diminished effects compared to drinking it later in the morning. Over time, this leads to the need for stronger doses just to get the same boost, a cycle that results in caffeine dependency rather than strategic energy management. So, what should you do instead? Hydrate first. Your body loses water while you sleep, and dehydration contributes to morning grogginess. Before reaching for coffee, start with a full glass of water, ideally with a pinch of salt or lemon to replenish electrolytes. Hydrating first thing in the morning jumpstarts your metabolism, helps flush out toxins, and improves digestion. If you want to optimize caffeine intake, wait at least 60 to 90 minutes after waking up before having your first cup. This allows your cortisol levels to follow their natural cycle, meaning when you do drink coffee, it has a much stronger and more effective impact. Instead of using coffee to wake up, use it to maintain energy levels later in the morning, preventing the dreaded afternoon crash. And if you're someone who feels sluggish without caffeine, try movement instead. A quick stretch, a short walk, or exposure to sunlight can naturally boost alertness without relying on caffeine right away. Your body is built to wake up on its own. You just have to support it. The goal isn't to give up coffee entirely. It's about using it strategically rather than out of habit. Because when you delay that first cup, you're not just making your caffeine work better, you're allowing your body to wake up the way it was designed to. And that small shift can make all the difference. 6. Skipping morning sunlight. The way you wake up is just as important as the fact that you wake up. Yet many people start their mornings in dimly lit rooms, moving from their bed to the bathroom, to the kitchen, and then straight to a screen, whether it's a phone, laptop, or TV, without ever stepping outside. They rely on caffeine, alarms, and artificial lighting to signal wakefulness, but they ignore one of the most powerful natural tools for alertness and well-being: sunlight. Morning sunlight isn't just about brightness, it's about biology. Your body operates on a circadian rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock that regulates sleep, mood, energy levels, and even hormone production. And the biggest factor controlling this clock? Light. Specifically, natural light. When your eyes are exposed to sunlight in the morning, your brain signals to your body that it's time to be awake, suppressing melatonin, the sleep hormone, and increasing cortisol, the hormone that helps you feel alert. Skipping morning sunlight confuses this system. Your body doesn't receive the clear signal that it's daytime, leading to slower wakefulness, lower energy, and even disrupted sleep later at night. Studies have shown that people who get morning sunlight sleep better, feel more alert during the day, and experience less stress compared to those who stay indoors. In contrast, staying in dim indoor lighting in the morning can make you feel groggy for hours, as if your body is unsure whether it's still nighttime. But the benefits of morning sunlight go beyond just wakefulness. It improves your mood. Exposure to natural light boosts serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for happiness and emotional stability. If you've ever felt sluggish or slightly down in the morning, lack of sunlight might be playing a role. Sunlight is also crucial for vitamin D production, which supports immune function, bone health, and mental well-being. Deficiencies in vitamin D have been linked to fatigue, depression, and increased risk of chronic illness. So, what should you do instead? Step outside within the first 30 minutes of waking up. Even 5 to 10 minutes of sunlight can have a profound effect on your energy levels and mood. If direct sunlight isn't an option, sitting near a window with natural light exposure is still better than staying in a dark room. Ideally, avoid sunglasses during this time. Your eyes need to receive the full spectrum of light to trigger the right hormonal response. And if you live in a place with limited sunlight, use bright artificial lights in the morning, especially those designed to mimic natural daylight. While they aren't as effective as real sunlight, they can still help regulate your circadian rhythm, reduce grogginess, and improve mood. Morning sunlight is one of the easiest, most natural ways to wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and mentally clear. The problem isn't that people don't know about it. It's that they don't make it a priority. But the truth is, your body is designed to wake up with the sun, not with a screen. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, step outside, look up, and let the light reset your body and your mind. Because when you start your day with sunlight, you're not just waking up, you're waking up right. 7. Staying dehydrated. Your body is dehydrated the moment you wake up. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep without water, your system is running on empty. And yet, most people start their mornings without drinking water, reaching for coffee, tea, or even nothing at all, unknowingly setting themselves up for fatigue, brain fog, and sluggishness before their day has even begun. Water is the fuel your body needs to function properly. Every process inside you, from brain activity to digestion, circulation, and metabolism, relies on hydration. When you wake up dehydrated and don't immediately replenish your fluids, your body has to work harder to perform its basic functions. This leads to slower cognitive function, reduced energy, and even increased stress levels. If you've ever felt groggy, irritable, or unfocused in the morning, dehydration could be a major reason why. But here's the part most people don't realize. Even mild dehydration affects brain performance. Studies show that losing just 1 to 2% of your body's water content can impair concentration, memory, and reaction times. This means that before you even start your day, you could already be operating at a disadvantage simply because you haven't had enough water. And yet, many people drink coffee before water. While coffee isn't necessarily bad, it's a diuretic, meaning it encourages your body to expel fluids. This makes dehydration even worse, especially if it's the first thing you consume in the morning. If you rely on coffee to wake up but don't hydrate first, you're not actually solving the problem, You're masking it. So, what should you do instead? Prioritize hydration before anything else. The moment you wake up, drink at least 12 to 16 ounces, 350 to 500 milliliters of water, ideally before consuming any caffeine. This immediately helps rehydrate your cells, flush out toxins, and kickstart digestion. Some experts recommend adding a pinch of salt or a squeeze of lemon to your water to replenish electrolytes and aid absorption. Hydrating in the morning also jump-starts your metabolism. Drinking water before eating has been shown to increase metabolic rate by up to 30%, meaning your body burns energy more efficiently throughout the day. It also improves digestion, helps with nutrient absorption, and even supports healthier skin. If you struggle to remember to drink water, make it part of your morning routine. Keep a glass of water by your bedside or place a bottle next to your alarm clock as a reminder. You don't have to force yourself to chug it. Just take slow, intentional sips while waking up. If you prefer warm drinks in the morning, herbal tea or warm lemon water are great alternatives that still support hydration without the acidity of coffee on an empty stomach. And if you find yourself feeling sluggish or craving caffeine first thing, ask yourself, is my body actually tired or just dehydrated? Because often what feels like morning fatigue is simply your body crying out for water. Starting your day hydrated means starting your day with clarity, energy, and focus. It's a simple habit, but one that has an immediate impact. So before you reach for anything else in the morning, reach for water, because your body has been waiting all night for it. 8. Checking social media or the news. The moment you wake up, your mind is like a blank slate, clear, receptive, and ready to absorb whatever you feed it. But when the first thing you do is scroll through social media or check the news, you surrender that clarity to a flood of information you didn't choose. You're not setting the tone for your day, someone else is. Social media is designed to hijack your attention. The endless scroll, the notifications, the unpredictable rewards of likes and comments. It all triggers a dopamine rush, keeping you hooked. And when you start your day this way, you train your brain to seek instant gratification and external validation before you've even gotten out of bed. Over time, this can lead to shorter attention spans, increased anxiety, and a dependence on digital distractions to feel engaged. Then there's the news. While staying informed is important, consuming headlines first thing in the morning often means exposing yourself to negativity, fear, and stress before your mind is even fully awake. News platforms thrive on urgency and emotional impact. Bad news spreads faster, and dramatic headlines are designed to keep you engaged. If the first thing you read in the morning is about political conflicts, economic downturns, or global crises, your brain enters a stress response, releasing cortisol and setting a tone of tension for the rest of your day. But beyond the mental impact, checking social media or the news in the morning also affects productivity and focus. Studies have shown that when people consume high-stimulus content early in the day, their ability to focus on deeper, more meaningful tasks later is significantly reduced. This is because your brain becomes wired to expect constant new information, making it harder to engage in work that requires sustained attention. So, what should you do instead? Give yourself a buffer between waking up and engaging with the outside world. Start your morning on your own terms, whether that means journaling, reading something uplifting, meditating, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes. If you need to check your phone, set a designated time for it rather than making it the first thing you do. A great alternative is to replace scrolling with intentional learning. Instead of passively consuming news or social media updates, spend your first minutes absorbing something meaningful, a book, a podcast, or even an inspiring quote. This shifts your mindset from reactive to proactive, helping you start the day with focus and clarity rather than stress and distraction. Because the way you begin your morning is often how you carry yourself through the rest of the day. If you wake up and immediately dive into the noise of the world, it becomes harder to find stillness, control your thoughts, and stay focused. But if you choose to protect your mind in those first few moments, you create a foundation for a day that is yours to shape. Not dictated by notifications and headlines. So tomorrow morning, before you grab your phone, pause. Give yourself the space to wake up fully present before letting the world in. Because the most important news of the day is the story you decide to write for yourself. 9. Skipping stretching or movement. Your body has been still for 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours while you slept. Your muscles have tightened, your circulation has slowed, and your joints have stiffened. Yet, so many people wake up and immediately jump into their daily routine, rushing to get dressed, grabbing a quick coffee, heading to work, without giving their body a chance to properly wake up. Skipping morning movement is one of the easiest ways to feel sluggish, stiff, and low energy throughout the day. Think of your body like an engine. When you wake up, it's cold and inactive, and jumping straight into your day without warming it up is like trying to drive a car that's been sitting in freezing weather overnight. It doesn't function at its best right away. It needs a few minutes to warm up, get the fluids moving, and prepare for performance. The moment you start moving, whether it's stretching, walking, or even light exercise, you're increasing blood circulation, sending oxygen to your muscles and brain, and activating your nervous system. This signals to your body that it's time to be alert, reducing grogginess and improving focus. In fact, studies show that even 5 minutes of morning movement can significantly improve mental clarity, productivity, and overall energy levels for the rest of the day. But it's not just about energy, it's also about longevity and physical health. When you skip movement in the morning, you're reinforcing poor posture, muscle tightness, and joint stiffness. Over time, this can lead to chronic pain, reduced flexibility, and a higher risk of injury, especially if you spend most of your day sitting. A simple morning stretch routine can prevent stiffness, improve mobility, and even reduce stress by releasing built-up tension from sleep. And let's not forget the mental benefits. Morning movement, especially stretching or yoga, triggers the release of endorphins and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that improve mood and reduce anxiety. Have you ever noticed that people who exercise in the morning often seem more positive, more focused, and more energized? It's because movement isn't just about the body, it's about setting a mental state for the day. So, what should you do instead? The key is intentional movement, and it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need an hour-long workout or an intense gym session. Just 5 to 10 minutes of stretching, walking, or light exercise can make a massive difference. Here's a simple routine. Stretch your spine and shoulders. Sleeping in one position for hours can cause tightness. A simple overhead stretch or spinal twist can help. Loosen your neck and back. Rolling your neck and doing a few back stretches can relieve tension that built up overnight. Move your legs. Light squats, walking, or even shaking out your legs gets your circulation going. Breathe deeply, Oxygenating your body first thing in the morning clears brain fog and increases focus. If you're someone who struggles with morning stiffness or low energy, just try it for a week. Wake up, stretch for 5 minutes, and notice how much lighter and more awake you feel. You'll likely find that your mornings feel smoother, your body feels looser, and your mind feels clearer. Skipping movement might seem harmless, but over time it diminishes your flexibility, weakens your circulation, and reinforces low energy levels. The good news? It's one of the easiest habits to fix. Start small, stay consistent, and soon you won't just wake up, you'll wake up ready. 10. Rushing through your morning routine. The way you start your morning determines the rhythm of your entire day. Yet, so many people wake up already in a hurry, scrambling to get ready, skipping breakfast, checking emails on the go, and feeling like they're chasing time instead of controlling it. They move from task to task with a sense of urgency, as if life is already behind schedule the moment their alarm goes off. But here's the problem. When your morning starts in chaos, your mind absorbs that energy. Your brain enters a state of stress and reactivity, releasing cortisol, the primary stress hormone. This puts you in a constant state of fight or flight before you've even had time to breathe. You may not notice it in the moment, but over time, rushing in the morning affects your focus, your mood, and even your decision-making abilities. Think about the difference between 2 mornings. In one version, you wake up feeling rushed. You check your phone immediately, see messages that demand your attention, jump out of bed, grab coffee in a hurry, skip breakfast, and barely have time to think before running out the door. Your mind is already cluttered before the day even begins. In another version, you wake up with control. You take a moment to stretch, breathe, and focus on the day ahead. You move through your morning with intention, whether it's making a healthy breakfast, getting some sunlight, or even just enjoying a few quiet moments before work. There's no panic, just a steady, prepared mindset. The difference? One day owns you, while the other day is yours to shape. Rushing in the morning also robs you of presence. Instead of experiencing your morning, you're enduring it, constantly thinking about the next thing you need to do. Over time, this pattern leads to mental exhaustion because your mind is never fully in the moment. You go through life reacting instead of creating, moving instead of thinking, surviving instead of thriving. And the irony? Rushing often leads to more wasted time. When you're in a panic, you forget things, you make mistakes, and you move inefficiently. You might spill coffee, misplace your keys, or have to double back for something you forgot. Things that wouldn't happen if you simply slowed down and gave yourself a few extra minutes. So, what should you do instead? Create a buffer of time in the morning. If you constantly feel rushed, try waking up 15 to 30 minutes earlier than usual, not to work or check emails, but to simply move with ease. Give yourself the chance to wake up without panic, without urgency, without stress. Another powerful habit: stack small, meaningful rituals into your morning. Instead of jumping straight into obligations, do something that grounds you: stretching, journaling, reading, or even just sitting with a warm drink in silence. These small moments signal to your brain that the day is starting with clarity, not chaos. And most importantly, protect your mental space. If the first thing you do is check messages, your mind is instantly pulled into other people's priorities. Instead, start with yourself. Think about what you need to feel mentally clear and prepared. The world can wait. Your peace of mind comes first. Because mornings aren't just about getting out the door, They're about setting the foundation for how you'll show up in the world. And when you start your day with control, presence, and intention, you don't just have a better morning, you have a better life. Every morning you're given a choice, a fresh start, a chance to decide how you will approach the day ahead. Yet, for so many people, mornings feel rushed, reactive, and out of their control. The habits we fall into, checking our phones first thing, snoozing the alarm, skipping movement, rushing through routines, may seem small, but they shape our mindset, energy, and focus for the rest of the day. Because how you begin your day isn't just about the morning, it's about everything that follows. If you start with stress, distraction, and urgency, you carry that energy into your work, your decisions, and your interactions. But if you start with clarity, presence, and purpose, you set yourself up for a day where you're in control, not just reacting to everything around you. The good news? You don't have to change everything at once. Even shifting one or two of these habits can make a massive difference. Maybe tomorrow you resist the urge to check your phone immediately. Maybe you get out of bed without hitting snooze. Maybe you take a moment to breathe, stretch, or step outside before diving into the day. Small changes, when done consistently, reshape your entire reality. So, as you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself, am I starting my day with intention or just following old patterns? Because every morning is an opportunity, and the way you use it, or waste it, is completely up to you. Make the choice that sets you up for the day you want to have. Because the morning isn't just another part of your day, it's the beginning of the life you're creating.